Well, hello guys, my name is Nick from Nickstoygarage, and today we are doing a restoration plus on this Matchbox number 35a Marshall horse box. This model was produced from 1957 till 1963 and came out in only one variant, being the red cap and chassis with the brown horse trailer. This is actually an E.R.F or an E.R.F, not really sure how you pronounce it, truck with the Marshall horse box trailer on it. Now, these models catch quite a few dollars when you're actually in perfect condition with the box. They go for quite a lot of money. This one, however, isn't really good. You can see on camera that I'm teaching you a valuable life lesson. Don't stick your finger in random holes, you probably won't get them back. Now, this model is missing its door. It has a little bend in the horse box right there. The axles are quite rusty and it's just missing so much paint. So it's just ready to be restored by me. So there aren't any rivets in this model, so we have to be creative to put this model to disassemble this model. It goes really simple actually. Just crimp it between my workbench and use my screwdriver with a hammer to tap open these little tabs, and they just release just like that relatively easily. When these are bent a little bit more to the center, I just take my handy dandy screwdriver and pry open until the base releases from the Marshall horse box. Now, the wheels and tires and the axles go off next, and there you can clearly see the bend in the little horse trailer. Now, there is something inside this horse trailer, not really sure, and I don't really want to know what's inside, so I just wash my hands after this and get to taking off these wheels and axles. Normally I would just use my rotary tool, but for this it's a little bit different because these are actually crimped axles. So what I do is I take my vice grips, I grip the axle so it can't turn around, and then I use my rotary tool to take off the little metal edge that holds on the wheels. When that is all done, I can just quickly take off the wheels. These are actually metal wheels, all the Matchboxes, especially these small scales. This is a 1 in 118 scale. Just have nice and metal wheels, so you can actually get them cleaned up pretty good, even repaint them if you want. So next, everything is off. I go with the model and take it to the sand blasting cabinet. Now, this takes me about 1 or 2 minutes. It took me a little bit longer for the horse box itself because there were so many ripples and windows and details that it just took a little bit longer to take off every single paint particle on this model, because I really wanted to make this my best restoration I've ever done. And looking at the model, you need to be the judge of that, but I really think this is my greatest restoration so far. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section down below. But I really believe I did a really good job, and I'm actually proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself. Next, this is after the sandblasting step, and you can see there's just still a lot of paint left in between these ripples. I could turn up my sandblasting air pressure so I could get everything off, but I'm really scared I'm going to damage the car or even the galvanization of this model. So in old technique, it's my paint stripper again. So taking my little brush and my little container, if you watch my videos from over a year ago, I used this every single video. Take my paintbrush and paint on the paint stripper, leaving it about, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes. For a fully painted model it's a little bit longer, but for these little paint particles it's just really quick to take it off. When it's done, I take my brush again, brush off the loose paint, then take my little mom's pajama pants, just clean off. I know a lot of you guys missed my mom's pajama pants, so I brought it back. It's quite disgusting, so I'm probably gonna cut another piece off. She probably still has it. Next, I take my toothbrush and clean off the remaining residue, and that's it, all nice and done. Now, the chassis itself was a little bit bent, didn't really notice that at first, but with the paint off I see it really clearly, so I take my adjustable vice grips and just try to bend it back into place. Next, there is no real way to hold the model swipe while painting, so I did the same thing what I did with my Lesney, the MG TD, link in the top right of the screen right now. I just glued a little... No, I didn't do it with that, but I did it with the Commerce Ice Cream Canteen. Again, link top right of your screen, because there's no way to hold it. And I do want to get paint everywhere. I just glued a little nail to a place that you will never actually see in the model. Really quite effective method, and if you have a better method, please let me know, but I think this is the best method so far that I've seen to paint all the details on this model. Now this is where I actually realized I haven't actually straightened out the horse box yet, so I take my vice grips again and just do it back into place. For primer, it's a fine surface primer by Tamiya, doing 2 to 3 coats in total, leaving between, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes to dry between coats, depending on how hot it is in my workshop. At this point in time, when it was recording this, it was 25 degrees Celsius, so it dried, well, almost instantly, but I let it harden out so I won't get any of that horrible orange peel and things like that. Next, it's time for the actual color. I said it's a Restoration Plus, that means I'm going to restore it, but adding, well, a plus. So it's got the original colors, red for the cap and chassis, making sure I get everywhere, because you can actually see in this model quite well, and I really want it if you look through the window and to the roof, that the roof, well, there is that little spot from the nail, but I wanted to make sure if you look into the car, you can see red everywhere. Next, it's time for the horse box, and my paint, my airbrush started to actually work good again. The last couple of restorations it was clogging up a little bit, not sure why. This time I used my Revel paint in black from Tamiya, and maybe I used more thinner or less thinner, and there goes my camera. Professionalism, left it in so you can see I'm not perfect. But using my Revel paint and my my airbrush started working probably again. Not sure if it had anything to do with that, but just so you know. Next, I bought a replacement horse box side thingamajig from MK Models. It arrived beautifully, and it was straight ready for paint. Actually a metal one, so that is amazing. When the back is dried, I picked it up and I painted the front, and again letting it dry with 2 to 3 coats, 15-20 minutes to dry between coats. Like you saw, my 1mm chrome pen broke twice. I got 2 and they both broke, but the 4mm one is still working amazingly. I did the entire car with the 4mm one, the entire front at least, but after that I took my 1mm one, squirted out some chrome paint and just used it as a little toothpick actually. But for once, I'm in love with how the grille and headlights turned out with this chrome pen. Link to the chrome pen, if you ever want to buy one, I suggest the 4 and the 2mm one. Link is going to be in the description down below. Next, it's time for the rusty axles. I got a really nice trick. I saw it on another channel. I kind of forgot who it was. If you use this technique, please let me know, because I want to give you some credit. I just stick it in my drill, and put it on full blast and just sandpaper it up. When it's all sandpapered up, I have a nice before and after, if I can actually get it out of my drill. There it is, a nice before and after, and doesn't it look amazing? I used, I think, 80 grit, and after recording again with the 320 or 340, I'm not too sure, to make it, well, shiny again. Next, it's time for the wheels. They were actually in quite good condition, so I just used my toothbrush to clean them out. And there was no glass, there was no interior, so that's everything I have to clean. There you can see the grille nice and dried with the chrome. That's actually the plus part, because the original one has just been painted in grey or silver, and this is chrome, so I like it. Next, I just snap off the nails, and I just slide on the wheels on the original axles. Sticking the axle back through the mole, sticking the other wheel on the other side, and then use my vice grips to crimp it back together. And obviously repeating the same process with the rear axle, again making the axles crimp again so they just don't fall off, because if you're driving and they fall off, that's a bad thing. Also, now we're at the end of the video, I can make it, I can do another advertising again. I recently joined Patreon. If you want to support the channel, don't feel that you have to, but if you want to support the channel, go to the link on the top right of your screen or in the description down below. When that's all done, I slide in the back, and snap in the front again. That just holds nicely back together. And last but not least, I take the actual the horse box door in a bit, making sure the wheels don't fall off. And I just slide it into place, making sure it's in the correct position and it closes beautifully. So that's going to be everything for this Restoration Plus, and I truly believe this is one of my better, if not the best restoration. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree. So this is it before the restoration, when it was missing a lot, especially the door, and this is it after the restoration. It's nice and shiny, it has the original colors, the axles are cleaned up, it has the door again, and it has a chrome grille, and I just love it so much. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, don't forget to subscribe and turn your post notifications on, and hope to see you in a future video. Thank you very much for watching. And like always, at the end of the video, I want to thank every single one of my Patreons. Thank you very much. Bye.